indeed, I understand what you say, but you have to make a differentiation here. It is correct that Iran has been accumulating an inventory amounts of enriched uranium at very, very high levels. 60% is very close to 90%, which is the weapon grade level. It is also true, and we have been saying it in our reports, that the amount, the volume, the amounts of enriched uranium that the country has accumulated would be more than enough to produce a few nuclear warheads. But, and I think it's very important, we should not equate nuclear material with nuclear weapons, all right? So the country still does not have nuclear weapons, and we have to make sure that they observe their status as a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The ones that can do that is us, through the inspections. This is what I'm telling the Iranians. They say they don't have anything to hide or nothing to hide. Okay, if this is the case, as someone once said, we trust, but we must verify. So we are not downplaying, we are putting things into the right perspective. What we see there is, of course, a serious development, but one which does not automatically or necessarily mean that there is a nuclear weapon program. We don't have any information in this regard. We are present there, as you know, and we haven't seen. Of course, we have to make every effort to prevent this situation to degrade in such a way that we are going to see here what we saw in North Korea. You remember a few years ago, until 2006, there were many efforts to try to prevent North Korea to cross the line, and it did. So there was a failure in the international community to prevent this from happening. I think here the challenge that we have is to keep this on track and to allow the IAEA to do its work in order precisely to prevent that this line is crossed.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I also wanted to just turn the attention as well to that energy transition story then as well. You've previously said that you see a place for fusion pretty much in all of this as well. What exactly does fusion look like to you? I mean, what's nuclear's role in this entire energy transition?
First of all, good old fission, because there is a lot more nuclear coming to the market. We see it in Europe, we see it in Turkey, we see it in Egypt, we see it in the United States, we see it in Latin America, we see it in Asia. So nuclear, traditional nuclear, as we know it, is going to, and I think there was a mention in the show just a minutes ago about the agreements in Europe, so that nuclear investment is viable. So that is one thing. Fusion is also very important. Until now, there was we had this old quip that fusion is the energy of the future, and it will always be the energy of the future. Well, not anymore. Fusion, which is basically a process different from fission, it reproduces Earth conditions that we have in the sun, for example, which is an almost unextinguishable source of energy, is closer and closer to demonstration. I was here in the United States a few days ago, and I see new companies, startups that are thinking about fusion, bringing fusion to the market in just a few years. I was yesterday in Rome and Italy. There's a lot of interest. Italy has tremendous capacity of physics, and they are working on that. And we see that in the UK also, see it in many parts of the world. So I believe that within 10 years, and perhaps even less, we will start seeing fusion integrated into the market. So indeed, very interesting trends we are seeing unfold at the moment.